Las Vegas, 2025. While millions chase jackpots inside climate-controlled casinos, a deadly crisis unfolds in parking lots just blocks away. Clark County's homeless population exploded 20% in just 1 year to 7,906 people, the highest count in a decade. Meanwhile, heat-related deaths among homeless individuals reached 147 in 2024, a devastating 39% spike that made national headlines for all the wrong reasons. But the numbers don't tell the whole story. Thousands now live one toe away from losing everything, sleeping in aging RVs and converted vans scattered across industrial zones, casino backlots, and the forgotten edges of America's playground. In this video, we'll break down the 5 dominoes fueling Sin City's hidden RV crisis and show you the proven solutions that could turn it around. So stay with me until the end. We'll walk through the emergency protocols already saving lives in similar desert cities. This isn't lifestyle. This is survival, a hidden crisis. When most people think about Las Vegas and RVs, they picture retirees cruising to manicured resorts outside Henderson, or snowbirds escaping northern winters to park near Lake Mead. That's not the story we're telling here. This isn't boondocking with solar panels and desert adventures. This is Maria Santos sleeping in her 2009 Honda Pilot behind a shuttered casino, moving every few hours before security calls the tow trucks, while working 2 housekeeping jobs on the Strip. Las Vegas houses 7,906 homeless people, with 4,202 living completely unsheltered, over 53% sleeping in vehicles, under overpasses, or in the famous tunnel system beneath the tourist corridor. A significant and growing share are vehicle dwellers, living in RVs, vans, and cars, falling through the cracks of a city that runs on service workers but can't house them. Unlike California, where tent cities grab headlines, Vegas's vehicle homelessness spreads across a unique geography. Tourist zones where visible poverty threatens billion-dollar revenues, suburban communities where enforcement drives constant displacement, and desert periphery where isolation becomes deadly during extreme weather. But this crisis didn't happen overnight. It's been built step by step, domino by domino, and each piece pushes more working families from stability into survival mode. Domino 1. Casino capital meets rental reality. Las Vegas built an economy around gambling, entertainment, and service work, industries that pay $12 to $18 per hour, while average rent hit $1,650 monthly in 2024. The math creates an impossible equation. Tourism workers need $66,000 annually to afford median rent, but most earn $25,000 to $35,000. When locals get evicted, they often buy aging RVs, thinking they'll save money while staying close to Strip jobs. The rental market operates on tourism economics. Property investors focus on short-term vacation rentals, earning $200 plus nightly, rather than long-term housing for service workers. When the pandemic destroyed tourism jobs but rent kept climbing, thousands of hospitality workers faced impossible choices: leave Las Vegas permanently or find alternative housing. For those caught in the downturn, an RV looks like a lifeline. You can buy a used motorhome for $18,000 and avoid a $1,650 rent payment while you search for work. At least, that's the calculation people make when their backs are against the wall. But when the economy that drew you to Vegas turns against you, the next thing to collapse isn't just your job. It's the places you thought you could park and rebuild. Consider Jennifer and Mark, a young couple working casino jobs on the Strip. When their landlord raised rent by $500 last year, they bought a 2012 RV, thinking it would save money. But the generator burns $18 a day in fuel during Vegas's brutal summers, and they've discovered that affordable desert living doesn't include affordable places to legally park an RV. Domino 2. RV parks price out the working class. Nevada built its reputation on wide-open spaces and affordable living, but RV parks tell a different story. Near Las Vegas, parks charge $85 to $150 per night, $2,550 to $4,500 monthly, often more than apartment rent. These facilities cater to wealthy retirees and recreational users, not families struggling to stay housed. Many impose the dreaded 10-year rule. banning older RVs that working-class families can afford. Others demand credit checks and employment verification that exclude people in economic transition. For those shut out, the options narrow to casino parking lots, industrial areas, and big box store lots. It's not legal long-term, but enforcement varies, and people hope they can stay invisible long enough to get back on their feet. That hope crashes into the next domino: Vegas's increasingly aggressive enforcement machine. Domino 3. Rules create a casino security state. Las Vegas parking regulations weren't designed for people living in vehicles. The city's 72-hour rule means constant movement or risk $115 tickets that escalate to vehicle impoundment. But the real enforcement comes from casino security networks that share databases, creating coordinated displacement across multiple properties. You get flagged at one casino, and you're banned from dozens of others. Jennifer Walsh, a 55-year-old former casino dealer, lives in a 2014 Class C motorhome after losing her apartment when tourism jobs disappeared. She's received 8 parking citations totaling $920 this year, more than her monthly food budget. Each ticket brings her closer to the vehicle impoundment that would leave her completely unsheltered. This enforcement isn't random, it's systematic. Casino security coordinates with Metro Police through programs designed to move people rather than house them. Business owners complain about RVs blocking loading zones. Tourists call security about unsightly vehicles, and the city responds with increased ticketing and towing. But criminalizing poverty doesn't solve it. It only creates more desperation. Domino 4. Infrastructure creates heat. Death traps. Living in a vehicle in Las Vegas means facing extreme desert conditions without reliable access to basic services. Summer temperatures exceed 115 degrees Fahrenheit, making RVs without working air conditioning death traps. People burn through savings running generators, but fuel costs spiral quickly, $15 to $20 daily during heat waves. Water access becomes critical during heat emergencies, but most vehicle-accessible areas lack potable sources. Carlos Mendoza, a 38-year-old construction worker, manages diabetes while living in a 2009 Winnebago. His insulin spoiled 4 times this summer during generator failures, each incident costing $400 and emergency room visits that could have been prevented with stable refrigeration. And Carlos isn't alone. Across Nevada, hospitals report increased emergency admissions for heat-related illness among vehicle dwellers. When infrastructure designed for housed people fails those living in vehicles, the result isn't just discomfort, it's emergency rooms, filled with preventable medical crises that cost taxpayers millions. If you're seeing how Las Vegas's system traps working families in this impossible cycle, hit that subscribe button now, because what's coming next shows how the state's political warfare makes everything worse, and you need to see the proven solutions at the end that could transform lives across the Silver State. Domino 5. Tourism economics drive fatal displacement. When Las Vegas enforces homelessness policies, the response isn't driven by public health or housing policy. It's driven by tourism revenue protection. The city spends $12 million annually on homeless enforcement designed to move people away from visitor areas. Operation Safe Streets conducts coordinated sweeps removing vehicle encampments before major conventions and events. The timing isn't coincidental. It's economic policy disguised as law enforcement. This displacement pattern proves deadly in desert conditions. Enforcement pushes people from shaded urban areas to exposed desert periphery where emergency services can't reach them quickly. Summer displacement operations during heat warnings directly contributes to heat-related deaths among vehicle dwellers who lose access to cooling resources. The costs are staggering. Las Vegas spends $15,000 to $20,000 annually per vehicle dweller on enforcement, emergency medical care, and legal processing. Meanwhile, towing an RV in Clark County runs $400 in fees before storage costs. Most people can't afford to reclaim their vehicles, leaving them completely unsheltered while the city pays disposal costs that exceed what safe parking programs would cost. The impact. The human toll of Las Vegas's RV homelessness crisis falls into 3 devastating categories: survival, health, and economic productivity. Every evening forces an impossible calculation: A well-lit Walmart parking lot might attract management complaints. A dark industrial area invites crime. Casino parking areas have better security, but generate the calls that bring enforcement. Each choice involves trade-offs between safety, services, and the risk of citations that spiral into vehicle loss. Rosa, a 61-year-old hotel housekeeper, works 3 different strip properties but sleeps in her 2012 Toyota Sienna in a North Las Vegas industrial area. The commute costs $18 daily in gas, eating most of her tip income. When her van was impounded last summer, it cost $950 to retrieve, money she had saved for first month's rent. The health impacts multiply in Nevada's extreme climate. Summer heat causes dehydration that progresses rapidly to kidney problems. Air conditioning failures trigger heat stroke in vulnerable populations. Vehicle breakdowns become medical emergencies when temperatures soar. David, a 44-year-old restaurant server, manages diabetes while living in a 2011 Ford van downtown. His insulin spoiled 3 times during power outages, each incident requiring emergency room visits that cost thousands, while his uncontrolled diabetes gets progressively worse. And the children suffer most of all. Nevada teachers report growing numbers of students doing homework in vehicles or missing school entirely when families have to relocate suddenly. Research shows children experiencing housing instability are twice as likely to repeat grades and 3 times more likely to develop behavioral problems. The cycle doesn't just trap parents in poverty, it predetermines outcomes for the next generation. The economic toll extends beyond individual families. Vehicle dwellers spend hours weekly moving to comply with parking regulations, time that could be spent working or job searching. Employers hesitate to hire without stable addresses. Medical emergencies become expensive crises when people delay treatment due to cost and access barriers. Las Vegas spends more money managing the consequences of vehicle homelessness, emergency medical care, enforcement, legal processing, than comprehensive solutions would cost. What works? The solutions aren't experimental. They exist, and they're working in cities that chose compassion over criminalization. Safe parking programs provide secure, legal places for people to park overnight, with bathrooms, case managers, and services on site. Austin operates public-private partnerships where hospitality businesses provide secure parking for employee housing, reducing turnover and improving service quality. The program achieves 91% job retention among participants versus 65% industry average. Costs businesses $28 per employee per month while saving $3,200 annually in turnover costs. Vehicle triage centers proven in cities like Phoenix and Albuquerque offer repairs, waste disposal, and housing navigation specifically for RV dwellers. These programs recognize that vehicle homelessness often reflects mechanical problems or administrative barriers, not just lack of housing. Fix someone's generator, help them register for benefits, provide legal parking, and they can maintain employment while transitioning to permanent housing. Albuquerque Center costs $180,000 annually, but serves over 600 people, achieving 75% housing placement within 90 days. Master lease lots, where cities rent private property and sublet spaces to vehicle dwellers, have succeeded in Los Angeles and Seattle. These programs provide electrical hookups, water access, and direct pathways to permanent housing. When combined with rapid rehousing assistance, retention rates exceed 85% at 2 years. The metrics are clear: safe parking placement within 72 hours, ID replacement within 30 days, caseloads under 25 participants per case manager, and housing retention above 85%. Programs meeting these standards consistently transition people from vehicles to stable housing while costing less than enforcement approaches. Las Vegas has the land, the resources, and working models from similar cities. What it lacks is the political will to choose solutions over tourism theater. Las Vegas's RV homelessness crisis isn't about people rejecting Nevada values. It's about a system that promises opportunity but criminalizes the people who get left behind when that opportunity disappears. Behind every parked RV near the Strip is a family trying to stay close to work, maintain dignity, and access the community connections that might help them rebuild. The The city that built its identity on second chances could lead the nation in pragmatic solutions. Safe parking programs don't require massive bureaucracies. They require partnerships between cities, counties, and casino properties. Vehicle triage centers don't need complicated regulations. They need mechanics, social workers, and direct housing assistance. Master lease lots don't require new construction. They require creative use of existing space and political courage to prioritize people over profits. Here's what you can do. Contact your Clark County commissioners and demand they fund housing solutions, not just enforcement operations. Share this video with someone who thinks homeless people are choosing their situation. Help them understand the economic forces and policy failures that create vehicle homelessness. If you work in gaming or hospitality, push for industry housing partnerships that treat workers as stakeholders rather than disposable resources. If you're in city government, look at Austin's employer partnerships and Phoenix's heat emergency programs as models worth replicating. The choice is stark. Las Vegas can keep spending millions moving people around the valley while solving nothing, or it can invest less money in solutions that actually work. The math is obvious. The morality is even clearer. And next week, we'll explore the 72-hour shuffle, Las Vegas RV laws that criminalize survival. Because understanding this crisis means understanding the parking regulations that turn working families into criminals for seeking shelter. Sin City has always prided itself on giving people a shot at the American dream. It's time to prove that includes the people who make that dream possible.